Have faith in the Father. The Father is with you. If you keep His commandments, everything will come unto you. If you keep the commandments, align yourself with Hakoim. Pay your tithe. Pay your tzedakah. Do not fail. Repair the breach. We have been called back by the Father to repair the breach. Do not fail. We are going to a glorious land, a land of milk and honey. Keep the faith. Know that the Father loves you, and everything else will come unto you. This is our promise from the Father. Keep the commandments and align yourself with Hakoim, the Father's chosen priest from the tribe of Levi. Make no mistake, Hakoim is the first Messiah. Second time around. Keep the faith and you will enter the kingdom. Keep the commandments. Have faith in the Father. The Father is with you. If you keep His commandments, everything will come unto you. If you keep the commandments, align yourself with Hakoim. Pay your tithe. Pay your tzedakah. Do not fail. Repair the breach. We have been called back by the Father to repair the breach. Do not fail. We are going to a glorious land, a land of milk and honey. Keep the faith. Know that the Father loves you, and everything else will come unto you. This is our promise from the Father. Keep the commandments and align yourself with Hakoim, the Father's chosen priest from the tribe of Levi. Make no mistake, Hakoim is the first Messiah. Second time around. Keep the faith and you will enter the kingdom. Shalom Mishpachah, and welcome to Hebrew Bible Secrets with your host, Rabbi Jeremy Beaton, Chief Rabbi. Today we are reading from the book of Galatians, starting at chapter 4. But first, I just want to show you the books we're reading from today. So the first book is the Hidden Truths Hebraic Scrolls, Brit Chadasha, New Testament. And for references, sometimes we'll be going to the Abrahamic-Faith, Nazarene, Hebraic Study Scriptures. And for those of you who want to learn about the feasts and the Sabbath, please buy the Forever-Israel prayer book with Passover Agadah. Okay. So all of these books have been transliterated from the Hebrew back to the English by Rabbi Simon Altaf, Hakoim, and can be purchased on Amazon. And if you want the hardback copies, please go to lulu.com. Okay, so without further ado, Galatians chapter 4, verse 1. 1. Now I say that the heir, as long as he is a child, is no different from a servant, though he is master of all. 2. But is under tutors and governors until the time which his father has set. 3. Even so we, when we were children, were in bondage under the elements of the world. 4. But when the fullness of the time was come, I am sent forth his son, born of a woman, born under the human law. 5. To redeem them, those under the human law, that we might receive the adoption of sons. 6. And because you are sons, I am has sent forth the Ruach Spirit of his Son into your hearts, that calls the Av our Av. 7. Therefore you are no more a servant, but a son, and if a son, then an heir through I am. 8. Formerly, when you did not know I am, you were enslaved by false Elohim. 9. But now, after that, you have known I am, and have knowledge of I am. How come you turn again to the weak and poor principles? Do you desire again to be enslaved by them? 10. You observe days and months and times and years. 11. I am afraid that perhaps my being among ye has been in vain. 12. My brothers, I urge you to be as I am, for I was as you are. You have not offended me at all. 13. You know how through the weakness of my flesh I preached the Besorah to you at the first. 14. And my trial, which was in my flesh, you despised not, nor rejected, but received me as a messenger of I am, even as Messiah Yahshua. 15. Where is then the blessing you spoke of? For I bear you record that, if it had been possible, you would have plucked out your own eyes and have given them to me. 16. Have I therefore become your enemy, because I tell you the truth? 17. They zealously affect ye, but not well. Yes, they would exclude ye, that you might affect them. 18. But it is good to be zealously affected always in a good thing, and not only when I am present with ye. 19. My little children, of whom I travail in birth, again until Messiah be formed in you. 20. I desire to be present with ye, and to change the tone of my voice, for I have deep concern for you. 21. Tell me, you that desire to be under the human law, do you not hear the Torah? 22. For it is written that Abraham had 2 sons, the one by a bondmaid, and the other by a free woman. 23. But he who was of the bondwoman was born after the flesh, but he of the free woman was by promise. 24. These are an allegory, for these are the 2 covenants, the one from the Mount Sinai, bearing the children for bondage, which is Hagar. 25. For this Hagar is Mount Sinai in Arabia, and answers to Jerusalem, which now is and is in bondage with her children. 26. But Jerusalem, which is above, is free, which is the mother of us. 27. For it is written, Rejoice, you barren that bears not. Break forth and cry, you that travails not. For the desolate has many more children than she which has a husband. 28. Now we, brothers, as Yitzhak, Isaac, are the children of promise. 29. But as then he that was born after the flesh persecuted him that was born after the Ruach Spirit, even so it is now. 30. Nevertheless, what did the scroll say? Cast out the bondwoman and her son, for the son of the bondwoman shall not be heir with the son of the free woman. 31. So then, my brothers, we are not children of the bondwoman, but of the free. Okay, so that now brings us to the end of Galatians chapter 4. So let's go back and have a look at some of the footnotes in Galatians chapter 4. So the first footnote is in verse 3. Even so we, when we were children, were in bondage under the elements of the world. So let's have a look at this. So the elements of the world are those people who give us their law, that is not I am's Torah, and keep us under bondage, also known as the yoke of slavery. If you read carefully, Paulus is hinting, Remez, at the first Exodus, when Israel was all under bondage and slavery, until I am sent forth Moses to redeem them. And likewise, Paulus actually points at that. He is suggesting very strongly and accurately that the Son appointed to come would redeem the scattered tribe of Israel, such as the house of Israel. Okay, so let's go to the next footnote, which is in verse 4. But when the fullness of time was come, I am sent forth his son, born of a woman, born under the human law. Okay, so let's have a look at this. Born under the human law. So we have here the idea of under the law has nothing to do with the loving Torah of I am, but everything to do with the Jews being born under the occupation of Rome. So they were under their law. So Paulus uses the law here is a confused state of mind statement. Since what is better than I am's law? We need to remember that Paulus also hints at Egypt. These should not be confused with Torah. Okay? So let's go to the next footnote, which is in verse 6. And because you are sons, I am has sent forth the Ruach Spirit of his Son into your hearts, that calls the Av our Av. Okay, let's have a look at this. So Paulus shows that when we have the set-apart Spirit, we will call I am our Father. This is the same picture as the prophets mentioned, such as in Isaiah 64, 8 and 9. Okay, so have a look at Isaiah 64, 8 and 9. So let's go to the next footnote, which is in verse 9. But now, after that, you have known I am, and have knowledge of I am. How come you turn again to the weak and poor principles? Do you desire again to be enslaved by them? So let's have a look at this, enslaved by them. So we have here, these people wanted to be enslaved by the traditions of men and forsake the Torah of I am, which is freedom. The same is true today with Christians run after pastors, bishops, and other clergy who are devoid of the marvelous Torah of I am, but would rather live under the poor principles of these men that teach against the Torah of I am, revealed to Moses. Okay, so let's go to the next footnote, which is in verse 10. You observe days and months and times and years. So let's have a look at this. Many Christians immediately jump to conclusion that this must mean we are not to observe the Sabbath and the feasts and the new months. This type of erroneous conclusion has already been established by most pastors. Unfortunately, such context can be drawn by the loose words of Paulus, hence why he was discredited and rejected by the apostles and believing Pharisees. Okay, so let's go to the next footnote, which is in verse 12. My brothers, I urge you to be as I am, for I was as you are. Okay, let's have a look at this. For I was as you are. So we have here, they were as Paulus was, turning towards rabbinic laws and ignoring the written Torah of I am. Hence his term, you are as I was. Okay, so let's go to the next footnote, which is a continuation. You have not offended me at all. Okay, so let's have a look at this. So, if they were like Paulus, they would be obeying the feasts of I am and his Torah. And this is what they are not doing, which is why Paulus wants them to be like him, to imitate him. Okay, so let's go to the next footnote, which is in verse 21. Tell me, you that desire to be under the human law, do you not hear the Torah? Okay, so let's have a look at this. So we have here, see footnote in Galatians 3:21. Okay, so have a look at Galatians 3:21. And let's go to the next footnote, which is in verse 26. But Jerusalem, which is above, is free, which is the mother of us. Okay, let's have a look at this. So we have here, Ashur is modern-day Iraq, Syria, and parts of Turkey. They lived in hostility and are in hostility to this day. Saddam Hussein fired Scud missiles on Israel in the first Gulf War. The Arabs even have a problem with each other and do not trust one another. In the past, Muslims have killed their leaders through deception by either poisoning or stabbing. The only thing they all agree on is annihilation of Israel to drive the Jews to the sea. Paulus speaks about this spiritual aspect of this relationship. Page 36, Islam, Peace or Beast by Rabbi Simon Altaf. Israel is in bondage to the Islamic world through the Western nations and their alleged peace treaties that keep failing. This is only one side of what Paulus is saying here. But on the other side, we know that Islam is the religion that requires fleshly submission to Allah, while the faith of the Torah requires submission to I am. By only putting your trust in him to receive favour and then to demonstrate it by obeying the Torah works. The faith of I am is all about him and his favour through his Torah, while the faith of Islam is all about sacrificing the flesh to the point of suicide bombings, which are conducted by radical Muslims today to prove their submission to Allah and the religion of Islam. These two are true allegories. One is Mount Sinai in Saudi Arabia, which is bondage and slavery, while the other is Jerusalem of above, which is freedom, if we trust in I am and obey his Torah. Okay, so let's go to the next footnote, which is in verse 27. For it is written, rejoice, you barren that bears not. Break forth and cry, you that travails not. For the desolate has many more children than she which has a husband. Okay, so let's have a look at this. Paulus quotes Isaiah 54:1 to grasp. This was the pattern of patriarchal marriage, and to show us that the Muslims will outnumber us via this method. Even while this was given to Israel, we slacked and did not carry it through. More are the children of the desolate. We have identified that the children of the married are less. If so, then, how can this satisfy the end times? Judah went into what is termed self-imposed monogamy. The edict was set by Rabbi Gershom ben Judah to have one wife, and so we can see that she, Judah, was not going to be able to have many children with this lifestyle of living, clearly marked in the prophecy of Isaiah. While this is not true of Ephraim, who would not follow any such non-Torah ban. Rabbi Gershom helped fulfill part of the prophecy in Isaiah 54:1. I knew this already. It's news to us, but no news to him, who sees all things, past, present and future. Even though Gershom's ban was to expire in 1260 CE, but the European Jewry still do not marry more than one wife at a time, clearly reflected in the prophecy of Isaiah, that the children of the married woman will be few. Hence, we see why this prophecy is not allegory, but quite literally true for those who call themselves Judah, even the Khazari converts. The married woman is still with I am. Note the two wives, one south, Judah, and the other prostituting wife, northern 10 tribes. Real Yehuda is still in exile. While Ephraim, the 10 tribes, will start to have many wives and produce many children, and will go back into the true ancient Israel pattern of patriarchal marriages. Of course, some brave souls of Judah will also follow with this, as they will lead the way, since Judah will produce the King Messiah, the head. They must also lead, even if not exceed, the house of Israel. When will this happen? The time is now, and not 200 years from now. As the restoration takes place, many pains will be faced by the leaders, but they will come through, some bruised and battered. But all this will help many in the flock to lead correct, set-apart marriage lives with the patriarchal plural wives. The experience of the few will help the many. The patriarchal model will establish more successfully in the East and will happen in Islamic lands automatically, since has allowed his children to produce seed and prosper, and he knew ahead of time where they would be least hindered to carry out the work that is his clear set-apart will. In fact, many Muslims today have Hebrew bloodlines. This will also happen in the West, but may not be successful as in the East because of the choking bureaucracy and red tape and immorality, that people actually enjoy living in sin in the West rather than the model of I am has set. Why marry when you can have a corrupt patriarchy supported by Satan, where you can have 6 girlfriends and a child or 2 from each with no marriage ties, live with one woman, produce 2 children and date 9 others secretly? This is Europe's gift to the world, their corrupt lifestyle inherited largely from the vulgar Romans and Grecians. They, alongside marriage, also had homosexual relationships unknown to the wife. Okay, so that now brings us to the end of Galatians chapter 4. So I thank you all for watching. This is Rabbi Jeremy Beaton saying thank you for watching and Shalom Shalom. Baruch Shem Kivod Malkuto Leolam Va'ed Benevolent be the name of his esteemed kingdom, forever and ever and ever. Amen.